Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Take Aim Gamescast. I'm your host, Scott Mills, the Microsoft/PC expert. And on my left, I've got Brett Wolf, the PlayStation expert.
Hello, everybody.
And on my right, I've got Eric King, the Nintendo expert, / a little bit of everything expert, / sometimes newsman.
Man, big day for the Microsoft/PC expert today. We've been waiting a while for this one.
Yeah, I've been waiting a while. Starfield is out, and I've been playing a lot of it the last couple days. I had off work. But we're going to get into Starfield, but first we want to get back to our tournament and updating everybody on where we're at. So through the first round, the winners right now that we've done, we have the left half of the bracket completed. So far, Fable beat Ghost of Tsushima, Red Dead Redemption 2 beat Grounded, Halo Combat Evolved beat Bloodborne, Shadow of the Colossus beat Uncharted 4, Metroid Prime beat Grand Theft Auto 5.
Dang.
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Spider-Man beat Ocarina of Time.
Another one.
Tears of the Kingdom beat Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
That's pretty straightforward.
And Halo 2 beat Forza Horizon 5. So, we're going to get right into our matchups today. Do we have the timers ready? Okay.
Got it ready?
Timer.
So, same
be
rules?
good to go. Same rules, so I believe, what was it?
You get a minute for your opening
Minute for the
argument,
open,
and then
30 seconds
and 30 seconds for rebuttals. Yeah.
Okay, so the first matchup for today, we're going to be doing Breath of the Wild, which Eric is representing, versus Morrowind, which I'm going to be representing. And Morrowind is the third game in the Elder Scrolls series. Do we want to start with Breath of the Wild?
Yep, we will start.
No. I always go second.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to start with Morrowind.
Let's start with Morrowind.
And Scott, on your mark.
Okay, Morrowind came out on my birthday, May 1st, back in 2001 or 2002, when I was 11 or 12 years old. And it's one of my favorite games of all time, and it still is today. Now you're like, okay, this game's 20 years old, Scott, and as a lot of Bethesda games do, it had a ton of bugs. The loading screens took forever on original Xbox. But you know what has made it modern and made it still hold up today? Mods. That's right. Bethesda has one of the best modding communities, and they still today have people modding Morrowind. In fact, people have created an entire new game engine for it called OpenMW, so you can play it without bugs, with all of that stuff. There's stuff in this game that I still like more than in modern Bethesda games like Skyrim or even Starfield that just came out, which we'll get into later. But yeah, Morrowind is one of my top games of all time.
Done.
Alright, Breath of the Wild, probably the best game of the past decade. And I mean, reviewers, gamers, everybody agrees on that. You know, you saw the ratings for it. Morrowind, I think that's probably not even a top 5 BGS game at this point. I mean, it's definitely gotten dropped down the rankings. I wouldn't put it in the top 5. So I don't know why it's even on this tournament bracket. But Breath of the Wild, though, man, that game is just generational. They did so many different things with that game, with the climbing and all that stuff, that open world is just seamless. It's crazy how they can pull that off on that hardware, because it's not the greatest hardware, but the game looks beautiful. The fucking art design is second to none on that art design, especially with that hardware, like I said. So with combat, everybody loves Zelda combat. I'm out of time.
Done. Alright, Scott, 30-second rebuttal on your mark.
Okay, so Breath of the Wild, you can't necessarily play that 60 frames per second. You can do that with Morrowind. Morrowind, I would argue, is in my top 5 Bethesda games of all time still. For the reasons I mentioned, the fact that you can go back to it today and play it. The quests are amazing. The whole setting and world is amazing. Breath of the Wild is just another Zelda game. There's been a million of them. And this Morrowind, okay, I don't have time.
Alright.
Man, that was probably a really good point he was about to put out there
Yeah.
too. So yeah, Breath of the Wild. Well, I'm not playing at like 480p, so yeah, I can't do it at 60 frames a second, unfortunately. But you know, I'm not out here counting little frames per second when I'm playing. I'm just enjoying the game. It's it's such a good game, and yeah, Morrowind's just so dated. Like, who wants to play a dated game like that these days? Like, it was good for its time, but its time has passed. It's time for Breath of the Wild.
Alright, so you heard the arguments. And we'll put these matchups on X and have you guys vote. Alright, next up is Super Mario Odyssey, presented by me, and then Fire Emblem Awake, presented by Eric. Awakening, sorry. You
Ran
know,
out of space.
Okay.
You just hit start and stop. So.
Okay, so yeah. Oh. Okay, so Eric, you said that you don't like going first, so
No, I always go second. Yeah.
yeah. So Brett, you start off with Odyssey when you're ready.
Super Mario Odyssey came out in 2017. It kind of revolutionized Super Mario 3D space. Instead of just playing as Mario, you're playing also as his hat called Cappy, which I think is a very cool thing. And now you can do co-op. So couch co-op, you can have, let's say your younger brother or sister playing as Cappy, and then you're playing as Mario. You can take on like.
Alright, I think that's quality time, boys.
I think we're gonna have to redo your thing.
Maybe not. Maybe false alarm. Alright, keep
Well,
going.
either way, we're gonna have to redo it. I don't want to.
Oh, why'd you stop the timer?
Because we just don't want to interrupt in the middle.
Alright, keep going, bro.
So yeah, Super Mario Odyssey came out in 2017. It's a kind of revolutionized the 3D Mario space. Now they introduce another character called Cappy that sits on top of Mario's head. It's really cool because now you can do couch co-op with your younger brother or younger sister, maybe your niece and nephew, cousin, whoever, that they can also enjoy the game too. I thought the worlds were very colorful, beautiful, fun. You can throw your cap on pretty much any creature and then control them. And it's kind of funny, you can wear like a little, it kind of looks like Mario, but as like whatever character that you took control of. Really easy to play. I know Breath of the Wild came out before that as like a launch title for a Switch. However, I thought Mario was a little bit more accessible to people wanting to buy more. And plus, it's a Mario title, so it sell very well, which it did. Had a high critic score. And yeah, I just had a bunch of fun with it. Again, the worlds were great. Yeah, I just had a blast.
Time. Well, you had
It's okay.
800ths of a second left.
Alright, no worries.
Alright, Fire Emblem Awakening came out for 3DS in 2012. It's universally thought as like probably the best Fire Emblem of all time. They introduced like a lot of different aspects into this game. Like I think when you kind of like you like evolve your characters on Fire Emblem, I think they made it on this one where you had like two different options, which they didn't have in like the previous Fire Emblems. I really like Super Mario Odyssey though. I did pick this game to win this round, but Fire Emblem kind of got a rough matchup. I wasn't necessarily expecting it to get through the first round, and I ended up getting up against Fire Emblem or Super Mario Odyssey, and I was like, uh-oh. But yeah, no, Fire Emblem is probably the best Fire Emblem. So if you like Fire Emblem, it's probably a good one to vote for.
Well, seconds left on the
And
board.
10.
Okay.
Okay, and Brett, you get the chance to do a rebuttal
Yeah.
for Odyssey.
Yeah, so pretty much Eric kind of told you, pick Super Mario Odyssey. He's not really that much hyped about Fire Emblem Awakening. Super Mario Odyssey doesn't have permadeath, so you can play as Mario, and it's very accessible to a kid, or all ages really. Fire Emblem Awakening is turn-based, grid-based, might not be as accessible. Like Eric said, he really thinks Super Mario Odyssey should win anyways. So you should vote for that because that is a better game per Eric arguing for Fire Emblem Awakening.
And
Alright, I don't have a rebuttal, boys. We're gonna just go with that. I made my argument,
no
so-
rebuttal. You don't want the 30 more seconds.
I'm fine with Mario Odyssey advancing if it does.
Okay. So,
All right.
I mean, they're both my
let's,
games. So.
all right. that's it for this round. The next round, we're gonna have another Brett versus Eric. This time it is a actual PlayStation game with Horizon Zero Dawn, and then Eric has Pokemon Red and Blue. So Brett, you can take it away for Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah. Horizon Zero Dawn, the first big AAA game besides Killzone for Guerrilla Games. Knocked it out of the park. Open world, post-apocalyptic. You play as Aloy, which is a great introduction for girls and females to be able to play as a strong lead character in a game. You're able to shoot monsters or animals that look like robots, which I think is very cool. And don't discount the story. When you get to a certain point of the story, you learn about what happened prior to the events of the present day when you're playing. A lot of times I would stop to read all the different logs that you're able to pick up. The combat is very fluid with the bow and arrow. Be able to change weapons through your radial wheel is very easy and simple. And the graphics are just beautiful. Even for a game that came out 6 years ago, I think it's still an easy game to pick up and still be astonished at what you're playing and being involved in the world and playing. So.
All right. So we heard from Horizon Zero Dawn. Eric, you can take it away for both Pokemon Red and Blue. They're both the same game basically. So.
Pokemon Red and Blue. It's a turn-based combat game where you capture little Pokemon, also known as like pocket monsters. One of the greatest turn-based games of all time. I mean, a lot of people grew up on this game. They got nostalgia for it. I probably played through this game like 20 times in my lifetime. Like, I love this game. It holds a special place in my heart, this game. Horizon Zero Dawn, that was cool, but it's not like a special place for me. Fucking going back to Horizon Zero Dawn. I can go back to Pokemon Red and Blue anytime I want, and I'm gonna love that game. I'm gonna go into these cities and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about this, forgot about that. It's been a while since I played it, but great turn-based game, and I love turn-based games. So.
And that's time. All right. Yeah, Pokemon Red and Blue is an old game, but as you heard here, we got a few old ones on here that might be able to pull off some upsets. Okay, Horizon Zero Dawn, rebuttal.
All right. So I think Eric made the wrong choice picking Pokemon Red and Blue. I think what he should have picked was Pokemon Gold and Silver, which I think was a better game. Instead of traveling through just the Kanto region, you can travel through the Johto region first, and then the East Drive playing Kanto. So you fight the Elite Four twice, and you face 16 gym leaders in Gold and Silver versus Red and Blue. So I would have chose that game instead. But yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn, a lot more time, newer game, more beautiful. Red and Blue, whatever.
All right, yeah, I would have chosen Horizon Forbidden West because that game's just a lot bigger. It's got a lot more, side quests, a lot more depth to it. So yeah, there's not the depth, and it's a lot better graphics, a lot better frame rate on Horizon Forbidden West. So you screwed up picking Zero Dawn, but I'm not picking these games for necessarily. It might not be the best Pokemon game, but for me it is because that's a game that got me into video games.
Cut that out. He went over. He's trying to pull your heartstrings. Don't let him. He's crying over here about getting all emotional.
Yeah,
Don't
so
let
that
him.
leaves the question: what is the best game of all time in the opinion of the people? Because these are going to be on the polls on the X app. You guys can vote for if you just like which game you thought was better based on our arguments. You can do it based on which game you actually think is better. Yourself, which game you got better review score. Whatever you guys want, you can vote for them in that way. Okay, so that was it for the third matchup. And now we're on to our last matchup of this quadrant. And we've got Hi-Fi Rush, which I'll be doing. You can do the time, Eric.
I already got one here.
And then, okay, cool. And then that's going up against Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'll go ahead and get started on Hi-Fi Rush.
All right,
And
3, 2, 1.
Now, okay, Hi-Fi Rush came out as a surprise release very early this year, and it got really good review score. They got an 89 review score. It got better than Starfield review score. And I went ahead and I played it because I thought it looked pretty cool too. And yeah, turns out that the just the music, like doing an action combat game to a beat, just feels really good. It gets you into a really good mood playing it. It's smooth and it feels great. And yeah, this was actually a big win for Microsoft. I wish they would have marketed it more, like that they actually would have understood that this was a good game. And yeah, I wish it was a little more popular, that it wouldn't just be swept under the rug, because there's been a lot of good games out this year. And this is definitely one that I don't think people should sleep on, especially if you have Game Pass. You should try this game out, and yeah, that's my argument.
Alright, Final Fantasy VII Remake. What's more to say about it? Scott loved it. I loved it. Eric loved it. Colin got a platinum in it. Beloved game that was originally released in 1997. But yeah, the remake, God, the way it brings Cloud, Barrett, Tifa to life. Like, you really see, I mean, Tifa looks amazing in that game. I couldn't wait to romance her. The way they explain the story, and they're breaking it down into 3 different parts. They really focus on that first part when you're in Midgard. Is it Midgard? It's not Midgard, it's something else. But whatever, it starts with an M. But the combat's super fun to do. It kind of has some turn-based stuff too, along with real-time action, which is fun. You can give your party members different items like you can in the original game. It's a beloved game for a variety of reasons that will take me too long to go over. So I'm going to simplify it. It's a great game. Nobody's ever heard of Hi-Fi Rush, though Scott brought up. Nobody cares about it. Focus on Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Out of time.
Okay.
All right. Hold up.
Got a review score, and then we got a phone a
What's
friend
that?
here.
Oh,
I know we
yeah.
have a phone a friend here.
So Hi-Fi Rush, like I mentioned, at 89, that was better than what Final Fantasy VII Remake got. But I do agree, yes, I did really like Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think I prefer Aerith to Tifa, but they're both, like, everybody in that game's, like, really hot, so
Whoa.
you can't go wrong with either Tifa or Aerith. But yeah, Hi-Fi Rush, I still think that people should give it a chance because it was a really good game.
I love these Thursday rebuttals. You guys say so much, and all of our comments are play because it's a really good game every single time. All right. So clock started a little bit early, but I think the Final Fantasy VII Remake had a lower review score only because of the high expectations that game had coming in. I still think it's a great game. Hi-Fi Rush, I think it was a lot of Xbox people that reviewed it. It wasn't, I know Final Fantasy VII Remake came out on PlayStation only, but, I mean, come on. It's Final Fantasy VII. If you played any of the Final Fantasies, play this game. It's the best game out of these 2 options.
There we go.
Is that what I was doing? Oh, man, sorry, I panicked. All right, so that's our tournament matchup. So.
Yep, so yeah, that was the 3rd quarter of the first round. And then, yeah, next time we'll finish off the first round.